talking to a primary school teacher. Now, primary school is the next step up from kindergarten, where the children are between 6 to 12 years old. Okay, well, let's meet our foreign teacher. Okay, I'm here with Scott Thorley-Cansey, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And we're going to talk today about primary school. Okay, Scott, so can you tell us, what is it like, or what was it like, working for primary school?
Well, where I worked at was a foreign language school, so they focused a lot on the English. And so you're teaching maybe every class once a week, maybe it's 15 to 17 classes a week, so 4 or 5 a day. Each class maybe about 30 to 40 students. And yeah, you're trying to get them to speak, basically. The Chinese teachers will teach them grammar and, you know, their normal sentence structures, but you're just trying to have fun with them, get them to enjoy English. And so basically the kids, yeah, they're a little bit crazy, but they're a good bunch of, good bit of fun, And the teachers there, they'll also speak English, so you get to know a lot about Chinese culture, make a few Chinese friends. I actually went to a few weddings of my colleagues in the school, in the primary school, and the Chinese weddings, I'm sure you know, they're pretty crazy, they're pretty fun actually, good experience.
Especially when a bride comes down to Gangnam style.
Yeah, Gangnam style.
Yeah. Quite like that.
Yeah, I never taught before I came out to China, and so you know, I kind of got thrown into it, but it was a challenge that I enjoyed quite a lot.
Okay, so how long does one class last?
Typically 45 minutes. 45 minutes. I mean, you know, trying to keep kids' attention span for much longer than that is pretty difficult. So I'd start a class off, maybe you have 6-year-olds up until 12-year-olds, and all Chinese kids of all ages up until about 14 love English songs, you know, any type of songs. So you'd start off a class, 5 minutes, teach a song, you know, teach them a song. Next, teach them the vocabulary you want. And then at the end of the lesson, you play a game with them, you know, a big, massive game. On the internet has plenty of examples, plenty of websites that can help you out with those ideas. And you get to have a lot of fun with the kids, a lot of fun.
So what age do they start from? You said 6
years old. So they go typically in China, kids will go to kindergarten up until 6, and then they will go to primary school, and then they start middle school at about 14, I think it is, 14. And so you have ages between 6 and 14. And there's quite a bit of difference between these ages.
There's a big jump from obviously a 16-year-old to a teenager.
So yeah, when you're teaching like a grade 6 class, and then you're teaching a grade 1 or 2, there's a bit of, you have to change your lessons a little bit for them. You know, they're interested in different things. You know, little ones are interested in dinosaurs. The older ones start getting interested in, I don't know, Justin Bieber or Lady Gaga. So you have to kind of adjust your lessons for that, you know, and it's a good challenge, definitely.
So would you say that their English ability, their speaking level is a big difference, or kind of the same from, must be quite a big...
Yeah, it is. You know, they've just come out of kindergarten, so they know the basics, apple, banana, 1, 2, 3, ABC, how are you, fine, thank you. They know that age. But then when they get to you know, 14, they can actually speak English fairly well. Like a lot of kids can speak good sentences. You can speak about a lot of things. Maybe not to, you know, adult conversations, but you know, they can speak about anything really.
Can you now describe the classroom environment? I mean, did you have any assistants, for example?
At first I had a lot of assistants. You know, the teachers would often help me with flashcards and how to improve my lessons. You'd always have a TA. But after a while, I got quite confident being able to control a class, and so I didn't really need a TA. I'd quite often say, "Oh, you can have a rest, you can have a little break," and I'd just have the class on my own. And it didn't bother me too much. Maybe some other people would bother a little bit, but yeah, I quite enjoyed, you know, being left to my own devices and making sure that the kids, you know, had a good lesson. Yeah.
So before you started working at the school, did they tell you some kind of curriculum that you'd be following, or you know, they would say we'd like to teach this from this book, and then go through the book, or could you sort of make them up?
Yeah, the thing is about foreign teachers in China is that we shouldn't really follow the book to a T. We should try and be a bit more experimental with the books.
Exactly.
Because teachers, Chinese teachers, are always following the book. The kids have got their noses straight in there. You can't break away from them. So you want them to have a little bit of free time, a little bit of time to enjoy it. So what I do is I take the book, and then I get the vocabulary from it, and then I try and teach, that vocabulary, but with a bit of a different idea than what the Chinese teachers would normally do.
Okay, so there is certainly a great amount of freedom.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they want to see maybe a lesson plan, see how you will teach the kids, and that takes about half an hour just to quickly write up a few lesson plans. It's not a big workload at all.
Okay, so typically in one day, how many hours work?
Okay, so typically you maybe start work at 9, and then the kids will go for lunch for about 2 hours at 12. They have a little bit of a sleep as well, because it's a long day for the kids. So from 9 till 12, maybe 3 lessons, 3 45-minute lessons. Some days you'll have 4. Some days you'll have 5 lessons in total. The afternoon you do 2 or 3 lessons. Just depends on how their schedule they give you. And 45 minutes, so you're done by 4:30, 5 o'clock. And it's in my experience, that's a pretty good job in China, because there's some schools, kindergarten, that make you work from like 7:30 till like 5:30. 2.5 hour break in the middle, but it's a long day.
You're there all day.
Yeah, it's a long day. So primary school gives you a little bit less time, a little bit less strict on the amount of time they need from you.
Okay. Okay, Scott. What would you say the most challenging part of teaching primary school is?
Kids can either be shy or they can be overly excited. So obviously, getting the shy kids to speak is a massive challenge. They don't really want to speak English. So trying to get them to enjoy it and then share what they know is a massive challenge. You have to be really easy and laid back with the kids, or you have to be quite attentive to some of them. They really some kids will be scared of foreigners. So we've got to try and break that barrier. And then other kids will be too crazy. So obviously trying to control the class. There's ways you can do it without screaming and shouting. A quick 1, 2, 3. And that all the kids they'll sit down. Also, when you're playing a game, threatening to kind of like rub off a point if the kids are getting too rowdy. That's a great way to kind of they'll be sat there like this, sit up straight. They don't want to lose a point for their team, so they're all trying to behave.
So now, can you very briefly just explain a typical lesson you might give? Sort of games you play. Could you just outline maybe a structure to one of your classes?
Well, typical 45 minutes. You have 5 to 10 minutes. Get in there, say, "Good morning, everybody. How are you?" And then we do a song. So, for example, 2 little blackbirds. 2 little blackbirds sitting on a hill. One named Jack, one named Jill. Fly over Jack, fly over Jill. Come back Jack, come back Jill. And I do that with the students. So fly away Peter, fly away Paul, whatever the names are. And come back Peter, come back Paul. So there's a lot of games, typically games or TPR, that get the kids active, get the kids moving. They spend all day in the same classroom. And so you get in there sometimes and they're all just dead on the desks. You want them to get a little bit more lively. It's foreign teachers lesson. You want them to have fun. So 5 to 10 minutes a song or TPR, and then I go into teaching the vocabulary. And the only way kids will remember how to remember vocabulary is by drilling. By saying something over and over again. Now, it's pretty boring sometimes, right? So you have to think of some, interesting ways to do it.
Yeah, of course.
I remember I used to do the Macarena, so like, for example, an easy word, apple. Apple, 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 get quicker. Apple, and it gets the kids enjoying it, and then they're not even realizing they're speaking English, they're just speaking English.
They're thinking they're just having fun. Singing a song and dancing.
That's it. High-low pitches. Apple. Just anything that'll get kids to enjoy it. bit of movement as well. So once you've got the vocabulary taught, maybe with a bit of a sentence as well. So what fruit do you like? I like apple. Then you get them to play the game with this structure. So you get 2 or 3 kids, 4 or 5 kids, and they will constantly, obviously have a bit of a competition. Yeah, in kindergarten there's many things around. Primary school maybe not so many, but you can use your imagination. I remember one day the kids weren't remembering vegetables, and so what I did was I went and got some vegetables. I was like, right kids, do you know what this is?
Real vegetables.
Show them. Yeah, cut them open, show them inside. It's good for the kids to experience physical things, instead of just learning out of a book. It's good for them to
or a picture, they can actually touch it, feel it.
I mean, I'm sure they know what a carrot and an aubergine is.
Yeah, but to see it, real one is much more interesting.
Get them to pass it around, like saying carrot, carrot, carrot.
Alright, Scott, what about the funniest thing that's happened in class?
Getting the kids to just do a chant. I got the kids, they were just before lunch, and they were singing, "We will rock you."
Oh, classic. Yeah.
And just having a class of 40 kids just kind of going a little bit crazy, a bit mental before they go for lunch, and just send them out and they're all just going mental. I mean, every day you'll have absolutely brilliant moments, like moments that are just golden. You just think, God, I love being a teacher because hearing, I don't know, something when they get them English mixed up, or just little sayings, and not that many. It's funny. It's really funny.
Yeah, I'm sure it's very cute as well when they're so young and they put a sentence together and it's like, it's not quite right, but it's so sweet.
There's some words, and when they mispronounce something as well, it can be quite hilarious as well. And every day you'll have golden moments.
Could you maybe give some advice to a new foreign teacher? If you could just give some advice, a few words, what would you tell a new foreign teacher?
The first thing, I think you can't be too serious. You have to be laid back, a little bit laid back. These are kids at the end of the day. You don't want to be too strict. They're under a lot of pressure as it is. You've got to be laid back on them. Second, you've got to enjoy your time out here. You've got to, when you have time off, go traveling. Get to see this beautiful country like China. I've been here 2.5 years, and I still have not seen, I don't think, a quarter of the country.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I still haven't been to Beijing.
Same, yeah.
And so you've got to really appreciate the culture out here, and you can't be too judgmental. You've got to just take things as it is, because this is the way that they live and the way they are.
So, when in Rome and all that.
Yeah, exactly. When in Rome. Even though lesson planning might be a little bit of a pain, it's always better to have a bit of an idea what you're going to do before a lesson.
Not just wing it.
I mean, sometimes you can wing it once you've got a bit of experience. You go on past experiences and what you've done in the past. But having an idea or a little bit of a lesson plan, God, it helps so much. You really get a lot more out of your lesson just by having a bit of a plan. Really do.
Okay. Thank you, Scott.
No worries.
Okay, I think that just about wraps it up now with Scott Thorley Canty. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you, Scott. Okay, everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. It's very important to remember, of course, that because they're primary school students, they're fresh out of kindergarten and they're still very young. So it's very important to have that energy to keep them focused, because your classes are also much bigger than they are in kindergarten, maybe by 20 more students. So it's very important that you keep that energy with these young kids so that they will stay focused. And of course, as Scott said, games are still a great way to gauge their interest. Okay, everyone, well, next time I'll be talking to a middle school teacher. As always, all the information is on our website at www.networkesl.com. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.